the Tata.
Levels, so primary, secondary, further and higher education, and we've got experience across international campaigning and national activity down to kind of local and work happening in their schools. So a real mix. So thank you very much for coming and talking to us about your experiences. Before I introduce everyone, I just want to sort of set out the plan for this session, and the idea of it is to create a dialogue between young people who are very experienced, who've been thinking about these issues in the work that they've been doing, and to have a dialogue with yourselves about how we can improve the engagement of children and young people in work on sustainability. We invited you to write some questions up on the board, which I've noted down and we will incorporate into the panel discussion. But if you're sitting there thinking, actually now I've got, as a result of the workshops and the various presentations, there are questions that you would like to ask the panel, if you could just make a note of them, and I'll be coming back out to the audience to get a few more questions. So half of the panel discussion is going to be responding to some of the questions you've got, but also we want to give the panel the chance to ask you questions or to get your views on some of the issues, barriers, opportunities from St Paul's Steiner School in Islington. And Isla's been involved in various ways with the school in terms of sustainability, and we'll be talking a bit about that later on. Then we've got Joel Aquadike from the same school. He's also going to be talking about his experiences working in the school on sustainability. We've got Ben, who you've met already, so I don't need to do any more introductions there. We have Daniel Key from the UK Youth Climate Coalition, and Daniel has a background in international campaigning, including work with the UNFCCC. You're working with Global Action Plan, and you're also involved in some grassroots environmental action activity. You can correct me later if I've not introduced you properly. Then we have Elizabeth Anderson from the UK Youth Climate Coalition, and you're involved, you're the Volunteer Government Liaison Officer, and you're also the chair of the DEC's Youth Panel, and lots of other things I can see here, as well as being selected for Women of the Future by Real Business magazine. And Jo Vincom from National Union of Students. Jo is president of Cornwall College Students' Union and also on the Executive Council for the NUS, who makes the decisions nationally about NUS priorities. So I hope I've done a fair job in introducing you all. So we'll move on to our first questions. So the first question that we've had is, how can you as individuals help teachers and senior management? And there's been some discussion in workshops and other areas about the importance of getting that senior commitment to participation. So how can you help teachers and senior management to get you and other young people involved in decision making? So that's the first question. I'm going to invite Isla to respond to that one. John, sorry, John.
We would like to set up an echo group so that we can give our ideas to the teachers and parents.
Thank you. John? Okay, do you want to pass it on to Ben?
Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's it's quite a reasonable question, trying to help teachers and senior management involved, getting young people involved in participation. And I think it's not, you can't underestimate how important it is to get young people involved and to get them involved in participating. But I think one of the most important things is you've got to enter dialogue. You've got to be communicating with young people. And whether or not that's, if you're looking at it purely from the school environment, there are many ways and methods through schools that you can also try and get young people on board, either be it through school councils or through citizenship classes. But I think, as some of you might have heard earlier, I was talking about youth conferences, and that's a thing we do down in Hampshire, which actually gets a lot of young people involved in local decision making with Hampshire County Council. Now that is coordinated with schools through local children's partnerships. So schools have a direct play, as it were, in sending young people and actually working with young people on some of the issues which they actually select to talk about and discuss and decide to work on. So I think, in answer to the question on how to help teachers and senior management, I think there needs to be a greater dialogue and a little bit more communication. But I think trying to explore other avenues and other possibilities, like the youth conferences we do down in Hampshire, really does help teachers and schools and a lot of local decision makers getting young people involved, and also trying to put the feelers out on what issues do affect young people at the moment.
I mean, I think really I absolutely echo what Ben has said. I think what's also important to remember is young people want to be involved in an initiative that they know is going to have some legacy and some sustainability within itself. So sort of starting, for example, a bit of a tokenistic, we'll have a recycling scheme and that will be our project. It doesn't do it for people. They have to feel that there is that two-way communication and that there's something here that they're really getting involved in, have that ownership of it. And that's how you can then get young people to help you build that momentum behind it. I think the other important thing is that it can't just be based on one really enthusiastic member of staff, because whilst that is so brilliant, it means that then if they're not there for any reason, or the students move past that member of staff, it kind of loses some of what it has. I think those are probably the main elements.
Right.
Well, my main experience is with UN or international, national level, but I guess it's the same principle. I mean, you really just want more democracy, more accountability, so you want to have an ability. We, as young people, we now have a constituency at the NSSC called Youngo, so we get to take part in debates or be there when there's discussions about certain policy to make interventions in the conference, and so it's really just seen that at every level, national, regional, local, allowing young people to get involved and as Elizabeth and others have said, when young people get ownership of something, then they really run with it, they're really excited, and if you give them that responsibility, generally they'll step up as well.
Well, I think that's really important about having ownership, and I think extending on that as well. One of the biggest things that we find in student unions is that there's a really good phrase of actually having projects that are learner-led but professionally supported. So a lot of the time in student unions or universities or further education colleges, you get projects that are set up by staff, run by staff, and then fail. And the reason they fail is because students don't have ownership of the project. They don't own what the aim of the project is, how it's going to work. So one of the biggest things about any project that you want to run in your institution, or if you work for government for them or anything like that, is that making sure that actually the people you're targeting at actually will have ownership and a democratic right over what they're trying to achieve.
Thank you, that's really good. I think we should move on to our next question, which is around, the question was searching around what's been a really positive and enjoyable experience around sustainability, and I presume that's because people want to know what's worked and what's engaged and been engaging for you personally. So that's the inquiry, and I'll invite Isla again to say a bit about one of your most sort of favourite experiences around sustainability.
Last year, Class 7 entered a growing competition and won a prize. This meant that they designed a new garden, and we are all now involved in building it. I really enjoyed doing this activity. We have started going on school bike rides. This I have really enjoyed. We cycled 8 miles last time.
So it was to do with experiences around just
If there's a particular thing that you've done around sustainability, it doesn't have to be in a school setting or an education setting, but something that's really meant a lot to you and had a significant kind of impact.
I mean, from different avenues and different organisations I've been in touch with and done a bit of work with, you know, the theme of sustainability in different forms has always crept in one way, shape or form into the work we do. And I think probably one of the best examples is the work we're trying to do at the National Children's Bureau at the moment, and that's centred around fuel poverty and trying to solve some of the causes of fuel poverty by trying to make homes more sustainable by making them super energy efficient. But I think the other different issues I've worked on to do with, say, public transport, for example. I mean, yes, you can look at it from the perspective of trying to resolve some of the issues to do with price or availability or accessibility. But you can also look at it from a sustainable perspective. If you're trying to encourage and trying to resolve some of the solutions to problems to do with public transport, you're trying to create a more sustainable future by encouraging young people and trying to create habits for life. So, I mean, my experience with sustainability, I've always, in one way, shape or form, it's always crept into the different types of work which I have completed, because it is one of those, it is a big, big topic.
Right. And I imagine the experience this then is going to be around the sort of national, international side, but...
I guess with UKYCC, it's more international level where we lobby governments and UN conferences to make sure that there's that future generations included in the legislation, that there's no decisions about us without us, meaning the youth, that all these decisions about what will happen in 2050 are taken by delegates that won't necessarily be alive then. So it's very important that we make sure that there's going to be a clean, fair future for all generations. So that's one thing we do at that level, relating to sustainability, but I'm sure Elizabeth can expand on that. One thing I'd quickly say that I really enjoyed recently locally is a project called People's Kitchen, which is started in East London, and what we do is, there's a lot of food waste in this country and other countries. We collect from grocery stores food that would otherwise have gone to waste, food that's perfectly good, but just gets thrown away because people don't buy it or because of over-ordering, and then we bring this food together and with volunteers make a community meal out of it. So we're preventing food from going to landfill, which produces methane. We're feeding people, so we're reducing food poverty, and we're bringing the community together so people can have a conversation about sustainability and other issues. So it's a very positive project. So that's another great project.
I mean, I work within UKYCC in a different team to Dan, although obviously we all work very closely together. But one of the most exciting things that we're working on at the moment is trying to make that link between education and what we call green skills, but you could just as easily call sustainability skills, because there isn't that definition. And how we can start to shape pathways for young people so that they can begin to appreciate that sustainability issues, climate change, energy issues, they aren't just about other people and a problem that's going to happen in the future. They're actually about opportunities right now for employment and their own higher education. And it's really interesting starting to try and look at that, and from a policy perspective, the different government departments that might be involved, the different roles that industry might take, and that absolutely fundamental role that education has to play. And that's not just higher education. Once people already know clearly what they want to go off and do, and I want to work in sustainability, so I'll take an environmental science degree. This is indeed how it's built in across the curriculum, how young people can start to explore what it means to them and what role they might want to play in that green economy going forward. How do they make those choices for their career? Given my background and my interests, I find that really inspiring, because that's really how you can make a difference. Especially now when you can link sustainability issues